This is Peter Eliades with a Stock Market Cycles update for Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Paddy's Day to all you Irishers out there. My wife has a little Irish blood in her, among a lot of other mixtures. I am 100% ekatotis ekato, as they say in Greek. Greek. I'm a Greek boy. But my wife is Irish and she's pretty cute. She's not just Irish, she's a few other things too. Anyway, happy St. Paddy's Day. It's going to be a relatively short update because we've narrowed things down to the NDX right now. I showed you that chart yesterday, dramatically lower downside projections on the NDX. They have a chance to get out of them, to invalidate them. But let's go through. There are two charts in particular I want to show you this afternoon. This is the first one. This is the NDX. And the offsets are 20-week offsets on a daily basis. So 96.8 trading days to 110.6 trading days. That's what these two offsets are that are represented here. You go below them, you get a downside projection. You go above them price-wise, you get an upside projection. Well, guess what? This has been a cliffhanger. There are probably very few of you out there left that remember cliffhangers in the movies. There were serial movies that were done mostly on a Saturday afternoon when we went to the movies as kids, and they'd have these cliffhangers where someone would get into trouble at the very end of it, like a 10 or 15-minute clip that they'd play, and the picture they want you to image for a cliffhanger is someone's hanging on a cliff and you wonder what's going to happen to them. And that's where they cut the movie off and say, come back next week to see what's going to happen to whatever his name was or her name. So those were cliffhangers. And we're looking at cliffhangers now in the market. Look what's happened here. This is the NDX, the NASDAQ 100. On this day, right here on March 12th, it confirmed a significantly lower downside projection. The very next day, it went above both the offsets, invalidated that confirmation to the downside, and the next day after that, came down and reestablished that upside projection. Now, today we had a good rally. I mean, a good rally, a 6.5% rally. It did not invalidate the downside projections. Let's give you those downside projections. We didn't give this one to you yesterday. These are nominal 40-week projections that are generated from 20-week offsets, 96.8 to 110.6 calendar days. And they called for a move on the NASDAQ 100 to between 53.8285 and 61.6697. That's a long way down here, folks. Long way down, especially from this recent high. Okay. So how does that fit in with what we showed you yesterday? Well, let's look at that chart that we showed you yesterday. That's this one right here, I do believe. And this chart, remember we told you that it was unlikely, we thought, that we would climb back above both of these lines today? Well, look what happened. We came very close to doing that, climbing above both of these lines. Look at this projection. This is the one we showed you yesterday. This is way, way down there. If we get down here, this is going to be like a 50% decline in a month or two from the all-time high established on February 19th. So here's the interesting part. The chart before this, the nominal 40-week projection, is saying we're going to get down into this area anyway. And if we get down into that area, this chart is telling us we're going to get down this far. This is the nominal 4-year projection. Again, as we said yesterday, it doesn't have to happen in the next couple of days, not even in the next month or two. But this projection, there's only two things that can happen when a projection is generated. You either meet the projection or the projection gets invalidated. Let's zoom in on this and let me show you what happened today. As you can see, I told you yesterday it would take 6-7% rally to invalidate the projection. The market must have heard us because look what it tried to do today. This is a big, big rally today. And this is what happened. The dark blue line is the closing price. You got above one of the lines, so there was a partial invalidation or an initial invalidation of the downside projection. Didn't get above the second one. So I'm going to give you some prices now to be looking at on the NDX, the NASDAQ 100 tomorrow. On this particular chart, I mean, you can kind of see it here, 75, 75. These two numbers are tomorrow 75.2652 and 75.0193. If you get above both those numbers, you will get back above the two offset lines and at least temporarily invalidate that huge downside projection. Okay, let's look at the other chart now, and I'll give you those numbers. These numbers on this chart, I think this is the one. Here we go. That, as you can see, this is where we closed today, 74, 73, 95. We need to have a big rally to get above both of these. We're talking about 77.35 to get above this blue line and 80.42 to get above the red line tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen, but don't take my word for it. We watch the projections. I've got sentiment myself, and I say I don't think, or I do think this is going to happen, or I don't think this is going to happen. I've had a lot of experience, and I'd say most of the time I'm right, but a lot of the time I'm wrong. The projections are seldom wrong. They have an accuracy of 75 to 80, sometimes 85%. So when we see this happening with this projection on the NDX, we know what it would take to invalidate it. One heck of a rally. And we know that chances are it remains in effect. While we say that, in the meantime, look at the crawl up above us. Again, down 84.5 points in Globex. This is 5:53 p.m. Pacific time, so it's 8:53 Eastern time as we are recording this, right around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and the futures are way down again. If you look at what they have done, what the price action has been over the last couple of weeks since the market high on February 19th, we're almost a month beyond that now. We have not had on the S&P 2 consecutive up days in a row on a closing basis. I think on the NDX, you did have 1 2-day span. Let's go through it here. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. Well, maybe even on the NDX. I thought there was one where we had 2 consecutive, but this is the way it's been going. That's the weakness underlying this market. One more comment, and I mentioned this yesterday. The 10-day trading index, TRIN, ARMS index, closed today at 0.87. That's one of the lowest readings of the past year, and theoretically at least it's indicative of very bullish market sentiment. People are buying the dips. There is no capitulation according to the 10-day TRIN readings. That's it. That's what we've got to show you today. I gave you some numbers to watch for tomorrow on the NDX. Those are very important numbers. They'll give you a good clue what's going to happen in the overall market. Thanks again for watching. By the way, I think we're very close with our software. We've set deadlines with each other, Stefan and I. And hopefully within the next week or two, we'll have some pretty good announcements to make for you in terms of our software. We hope you are as excited as we are. That's it for now. If you haven't subscribed yet, bottom right, subscribe, click on the notification bell. You'll be notified as soon as updates go on. You're welcome to put some comments. Hopefully they're generous and complimentary comments. If they're not, let us know why. And thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow.